Hey, so welcome to my AEW Dynamite review. Um, we got to talk about it. I know you might not want to, and I can't force you, but since I watched it, I am obligated to at least put this video out into the ether. And if you stumble upon it, you will hear my thoughts on the August 11th, 2021 episode of AEW Dynamite. So we start this show with a young man who calls himself MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. This gentleman has defeated Chris Jericho twice thus far, and says that Chris Jericho is chasing redemption through the labors of Jericho, and that he is so close, but he's going to be stopped by his good buddy Wardlow, and that Jericho is going to find out if, by any stretch of the imagination, if by chance Jericho actually defeats the monstrous Wardlow, he is going to learn that MJF is better than him and that he knows it. So Wardlow, massive guy that he is, makes a little comment about I'm gonna beat him. And then MJF says, like kind of like you beat Cody in the cage. And I was like, reminding the monstrous man of his failures. Reminding him, you let me down once, don't let me down again, Mr. Wardlow. This brings us to the main event scene, where Chris Jericho is welcomed by all of these fans who are cheering for him and singing the theme song. They're singing Judas. They're pumping him full of energy and love, and they really, really, really want their hero to succeed. And then here comes Wardlow. Big guy. Muscly guy. And Wardlow goes in there and puts his massive paws upon the body, the melted wax body of Chris Jericho. And he starts to swing him back and forth. Power bombs him 100 times. F5, spinning him. Boom. Mr. Wardlow seems to have all well in hand. But alas, MJF can't keep his nose out of Wardlow's business. He slides in the ring, gets caught by referee Aubrey. He said, no. Not me. I didn't do anything, referee Aubrey. She says, get out of here. You're shifty. I see it in your eyes. You're up to no good, Mr. MJF. MJF leaves. And Jericho hits Mr. Wardlow with a baseball bat. Knocks him clean out. Pins him. And Mr. Wardlow loses. Of course, this is MJF's fault. That's the entire point of this thing. It's Mr. MJF's fault, and Mr. Wardlow lost. After the match, a very useless gentleman by the name of Shawn Spears, he makes his appearance and attacks our hero Chris Jericho, attacks him from behind, stomps him viciously several times. And then a young whippersnapper, a young gecko-looking gentleman by the name of Sammy Guevara comes to the ring to fight off Shawn Spears, because for some reason, whenever Shawn Spears appears, Sammy Guevara must be there. They are like magnets or two cars passing in the night, like lovers. They can never be apart. All of this chaos commences. It's a big brawl. MJF comes in and he attacks Chris Jericho. He puts Chris Jericho on the armbar. Sammy Guevara is getting beaten up. And then here comes Jake Hager, the giant hero, the giant lisping hero. He comes into the scene and my God, he runs off the heels. He runs off the baby faces. He stands tall. And Mr. MJF, he's not done. He says, oh my goodness. You've passed all of your labors. Now you get to face me, Chris Jericho. But you don't know what my stipulation is. I've got a secret. I've been plotting on your demise for several weeks. This is my secret. This is what I want to do. This is how I'm going to screw you over, Chris Jericho. I'm going to take your finest weapon away from you, Chris Jericho. No theme music. No spinning back elbow. You're done. That's it. That's all I need, Chris Jericho, is to take away your finisher. You cannot have your finishing hold, and you cannot have your theme song. I win. Checkmate, Mr. Jericho. Your entire career, all the things you've ever done, it's because you have a spinning back elbow finish. And people like to chant and sing your theme song. So I'm going to take those things away from you. You're going to come out here to dead silence. I got your number now, Chris Jericho. And as I sat and watched this, I said to myself, these people must think I'm fucking stupid. You must think I'm fucking stupid. If you think that's a real stipulation, you must think I'm fucking stupid. But see, that's not the case. That's not the case. See, Renee Paquette, who looks like an honest woman, and our good buddy Colt Cabana, everybody's friend, they have told me that AEW does not think their fans are stupid. So I take their word for it. Because I'm a gullible, naive fuck who does YouTube channels. Why would I not believe them? I fully believe this. They don't think we're stupid. They think we're smart. Not like everyone says, like dumb. We're not dumb hick wrestling fans. I'm a big city dumb hick wrestling fan. So clearly I think this is a great idea. It's a great idea that of all the stipulations you could have possibly picked, you take away his finisher. Well, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is, man. AEW doesn't think we're stupid. I think they kind of know we're stupid. All right, so let's talk about AEW Dynamite. And let's see. The Elite defeated Dante Martin and the Seidel brothers in what could be nothing less than an attempt to get gold in the Olympics. But I think the Olympics are over. Dante Martin is a fabulous gymnast. He's got incredible athleticism. But there was not a single wrestling hold in this match, I don't believe. And the referee was god-awful. As per the usual, referee is horrible. Match is a total complete spot fest in which little to nothing of substance took place. But the fans liked it. It was great for that audience. 4.5 stars, I guess. You know, this is what wrestling is. This is awesome. This is awesome. Tony Schiavone then had a conversation with the Elite in which Don Callis says that the Pittsburgh hasn't had a winning team since the Elite, before the Elite or whatever. Who cares, really? He called Christian a Stanford stooge because Christian came out there and poked his nose in the business. He brought the Jurassic Express with him because everybody's tied to somebody in this company. Everybody's in some sort of a faction, even if it doesn't make any sense. But I think that they were trying to be funny. You got Christian, one of the oldest guys on the roster, shoved into the Jurassic Express. Christian is old. They put him in the Jurassic Express. It's almost as if they're trying to tell us something. You know, the AEW fan is not dumb. Not like everyone says. We're smart. And because we're smart, I know that the word Jurassic means old. And I know that Christian is old. Are they saying, well, look, I don't want to put, 2 + 2 = 4. Unless, you know, you got a Harvard brain. And then sometimes it's 5. Sometimes. Could this be one of the sometimes? Maybe. Who knows? Who cares, really? Christian comes out there, says a bunch of nothing. The fans chant CM Punk. Yeah, I'm very glad that it's starting to happen to AEW now. You know, I really don't like the CM Punk chants. I really don't give a shit. But at least it's not on Raw or SmackDown. In any event, Christian, the point of all of this nonsense is that Christian will be challenging Kenny Omega for the Impact World title on the first episode of Rampage. In the opening match of Rampage, Kenny Omega versus Christian. This is, of course, after we were told that Kenny Omega will be wrestling Christian for the AEW World Championship at All Out. So we're going to have this match twice within a month. Or is it going to be some kind of a swerve where they're going to have this match and then maybe Christian gets hurt and can't wrestle at All Out and he needs to be replaced? Who knows? Find it very odd here that this is what we're doing. But, you know, one would call it hot shotting, perhaps. That you're trying to load up this AEW Rampage episode by hot shotting, Omega versus Christian. That's what some people would say. I'm not saying I say that. I'm saying some people would say that. Not exactly saying that I say it, but hot shotting exists. Okay? It's a thing that people do. Later, a couple seconds later, Jungle Boy says, oh yeah, I also talked to Mr. Tony Khan, and we will be getting an AEW Tag Team Championship match against the Young Bucks. Okay. All right. Later in the show, the Young Bucks, the EVPs, the extremely violent people, are talking about how they're the best in the business. They've been dominant for 1 year. Nobody is in their league. It's so easy. They're going to defeat the Jurassic Express. It's going to be so easy. It's going to be like a layup. To which they had a basketball and was in front of a basketball rim. They turn around to try to lay up the ball, and here comes Luchasaurus, blocks it, and stands over them and says, not in my house. A Dikembe Mutombo reference. In a show that's supposed to have the youngest demographic in wrestling. If you are, 25, what do you know about Dikembe Mutombo? You've probably seen him in one commercial. You probably don't remember that kind of stuff. Look. Let's move on. Okay? Let's move on to something that's actually good. Malachi Black cuts a promo. He basically says that, he made good on all of his promises. And that he has been the one who speaks the truth. But they called him a fool. And that Cody has one foot in the grave and let him know when he wants to put the rest of it. And says that Cody is alone. But Malachi Black is also alone. And Malachi Black is alone because he chooses solitude. And that any opponent to whom he chooses to face will realize that they have been arguing with God. Now, I do like the line that he says about the one who speaks the truth has been labeled a fool. There is this. How many people have ever seen Dinner for Schmucks? If you've seen Dinner for Schmucks, raise your hand. All right, so there was a Beatles song that was accounted to. There was a Beatles song that was on the soundtrack for Dinner for Schmucks. The Fool on the Hill, right? The way the song goes is that the fool on the hill sees the world spinning round. But if you actually know the movie Dinner for Schmucks, then you know that a lot of the people who thought themselves were smart, they were very mean, very cruel. And the idiots, the dumb people in the movie, they were very nice people. They saw within other people and was able to find your inner goodness, right? That to other people, they were eccentric, they were weird, you could laugh at them, you can make fun of them. But they had inner peace. They knew themselves. And they were able to expose others through just being themselves. They was able to expose that other people were mean and cruel and didn't know human nature and didn't really understand other people through their own eccentric behavior and through their own personalities. They saw that other people were selfish as they were trying to make fun of them and all that sort of thing. The big point here is, I always talk about this, the entertainer, the fool, his job, the comedian. His job is an intellectual job. It is a job to make the king laugh at himself, but also to reveal the truth, right? And in revealing the truth, sometimes you have to play the fool. And there's a pretty good statement about that in here. That people thought people thought that he was foolish, but in reality, he was just telling the truth. He knows the truth, and he's been revealing the truth, or he's going to reveal the truth. And that's a pretty good concept. That's pretty cool. Hopefully they have something for him, and he won't just be like he was in WWE, cutting random promos against people who don't really exist. Similar to how Miro is doing it now. In any event, the next match, Daniel Garcia versus Darby Allin. Darby Allin won this match with a coffin drop. This match was pretty solid, actually. Daniel Garcia is one of these wrestler guys. Zero personality to speak of, but is a good grappler. He used some pretty, effective submission holds. I actually did enjoy that and found that to be very interesting, especially in comparison to the first match where we didn't see none of this. Now, similar to the first match, we got little to no personality from Daniel Garcia. Just like we got little to no personality from the Seidel brothers or Dante Martin. It was just an exhibition in athletics. 2.0, who was Everrise rules, were outside the ring. And they got beat up after the match by Sting and Darby Allin. This, of course, will lead to Sting and Darby Allin versus 2.0, which is their new name, next week on Dynamite. So Sting will be wrestling on free TV for the first time in years. Not bad. Not bad. Is it hot-shotting? Probably not. I think that they've had, 2 Sting matches so far on pay-per-view? I think they could probably get away with a Sting match on TV. Not too bad. So then we get Death Triangle. Penta wants to fight Andrade. Tired of him. They said, no. Pac says, no. Penta. Phoenix. You guys need to focus on being the tag team champions. I will fight Andrade. We don't know Andrade. We don't like Andrade. We don't understand why he is so obsessed with Death Triangle. But if he wants to fight, I ain't hard to find. So Pac threatened to beat up on Andrade. Later, Andrade is hanging out with Dasha Fuentes. They are speaking in Spanish. And Andrade says, Pac, you're ungrateful. And then Chavo cut in and called him, yeah, you're ungrateful. Says, all of you guys have done is show Andrade disrespect. Andrade kind of looked at Chavo like, Mister, I was speaking. He said, you better be careful what you wish for. Andrade said it in Andrade speak, which is somehow neither English or Spanish. And then he said, I'm the boss. I am the boss. And then Chavo said, oh, yeah, you're the boss. And we accept your challenge for All Out. So Andrade, who's only had one match on TV, is going to wrestle a pay-per-view match with Pac. You know what? Don't mind it. That's good. I would hope this match will be pretty good. I would hope this match is good. Pac, when was the last time he wrestled on TV? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Santana and Ortiz had a vignette with FTR where they talked about, pursuing blood. Every time they come out, they're going for blood. Every time. And now it's not any time different. And I thought that was excellent. Fantastic. Santana and Ortiz versus FTR. Continue. Please, commence. I'm all about that. That's good stuff. Chris Statlander defeated Nyla Rose in a match nobody should have cared about. Interesting thing here is Vicky Guerrero decided to shriek at Orange Cassidy like a vulture, which apparently crushed his eardrums and almost made his head explode. And I just said to myself, that's a couple of shades lower than winking doll, but it's still pretty fucking dumb. Why is Vicky doing that? Why is that her position? that she's the shrieker, the banshee, the Sindel of the wrestling business. I don't, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I'm at a loss for words. So I'm gonna move on. Chris Statlander will probably be Britt Baker's opponent at the pay-per-view, which, is cool. So they did a vignette for Britt Baker and Red Velvet. Red Velvet talked about how she had to prove herself every week and all that kind of stuff by winning matches and everything. Typical underdog babyface stuff. Then Britt Baker talked in that promo, but I don't remember what she said. Because what she said was more important in the stand-up interview she did in the ring. And this is why I realized that Britt Baker is probably top 3 reasons to watch this show. There really isn't many other reasons to watch this show, but Britt Baker is very good. So first you get the visual. The terrible towers. They're in Pittsburgh. They're in her hometown. The terrible towers of the Steelers, being, spinning in the crowd, and it's a great visual. I don't see why AEW, constantly feeds in on things that they don't get money for. It's like, unless those are Britt Baker towels, what? And they weren't. They were Steelers towels. So it was kind of like, okay, it was a cool visual, but you're giving money to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Make Britt Baker towels, you idiot. And put her face on them so you can make some money off of those things. In any event, she came out there and she said, she can't relate to Red Velvet's rise because she's always been on top. But she can relate to her fearlessness. And because she wasn't afraid to step up when the company needed a face and when this city needed a champion. And then she says she presented the AEW women's title as hope for Pittsburgh, which she referred to as Britsburg. And I said to myself, she's one of the 3 reasons to watch this show. Okay? Almost everything she does except matches. Matches are, sometimes they're good. Sometimes she gets hurt. Okay? But her promos have been top notch. I could tell that her promos are written, by the way. It's not natural. Her promos are written. In any event, whether they're written or whether they're right off the top of her head or however it goes, they're very good. And she performs them very well. And she's very believable. And she cut essentially a babyface promo here. It wasn't a heel promo. It was a babyface promo. She was in her hometown. Then Red Velvet attacked her after the promo. And I was just kind of like, interesting. Are we turning Red Velvet or what are we doing? In any event, because everybody has to fight, they were fighting and then they ended up separating somehow and whatever. We got a video package for Starks and Cage, to which Stark says, we keep missing each other. We're like ships passing in the night. But says that next week on Dynamite, he's going to be there and there's going to be no backup. There's going to be no Hook and no Hobbs. Cage says that, you call it like ships passing in the night, call it like you're running. And I can tell that you're lying because your lips are moving. But he will be there for Dynamite. My dislike for Brian Cage grows by the week. I mean, you can't even do a pre-tape that feels intense or charismatic or anything. I mean, this is a complete waste of Ricky Stark's time, for Christ's sake. Please get him out of this situation. I'm ready to throw this dude a rescue towel. I'm ready to send somebody in there with one of those inflatable donuts to pull him out of this morass. This is trash. This is terrible. Jesus. Somebody save Ricky Starks, for fuck's sake. Get him away from Brian Cage. So then, speaking of needed to get away, Jesus Christ, the Dark Order. What is the rest of the Good Brothers? And for some reason, the fans hate the Good Brothers. And I don't mean they just hate them because they're heels. I mean, people legitimately hate the Good Brothers. And I say, of these 2 teams, if I must watch them, I would much rather watch the Good Brothers. Why on earth would any sentient, well-educated, brain fully functional human being want to watch the Dark Order? Why would you ever? What do they do for anybody? It doesn't do shit. Moving on very quickly. So They did a promo for Camille after she stood in the ring last week. They actually did a promo for her this week. And basically she talked about Layla Hirsch being the underdog and that Layla Hirsch is a legit wrestler, but she's not going to be able to take me. She ain't going to be able to take me down, because Camille, a.k.a. Big Country, country as fuck. She country as cornbread and greens. And it was fine. It was short. We didn't get a lot out of it. So, whatever. She got to talk about her fighting style and everything. So let's get to what really caused my brain to rot and drip from my nose. QT Marshall. You have to say that with your pinky up, like you're sipping tea. QT Marshall. This gentleman was in the ring. Mr. QT Marshall, I'm sorry. Don't want to mispronounce his name. Demanding that Tony Schiavone give him an apology. Tony Schiavone says, no, I will not. And then he says, well, since you want to apologize to us, I am going to apologize to you for what we're about to do. We know that your son wants to be a wrestler. And that he's apparently in training or something or other. Then he sends the mighty barbarian known as Nick Camarado to grab the son of Tony Schiavone from the crowd. Then he punches the son of Tony Schiavone in the stomach. Tony then squeals and says, no, my son, my heart. I apologize to you, QT Marshall. I apologize for everything I have ever done wrong. I apologize. I'm sorry, Mr. QT Marshall. I won't do it again. Mr. QT Marshall then proceeds to continue pummeling Junior Schiavone, who I don't even think his name was used, after saying that the apology was not accepted. What follows got my blood pressure so high. The Big Show. The big bumbling fuck Big Show comes lurching down the ring like a goddamn beluga whale on two legs. Somehow got those gigantic legs of his to not crush the ground beneath him. Got in the ring. QT Marshall is afraid of him and decides to shove Aaron Solo into his arms, to which Big Show chokeslams Aaron Solo, and then shook hands with Baby Schiavone and Tony Schiavone. And I instantaneously said, there is nothing I want less than QT Marshall versus Big Show. There is nothing that I want less. Nothing. Well, if I put my mind to it and I stop being a little bit hyperbolic, there probably is some things that I don't want. It's probably like an enema. Something that might cause me extreme pain or discomfort. I think that might be on the list. Like those things might be on the list. But when it comes to, being realistic, there is nothing I want to sit through less than a feud, a promo, a match, a segment, a quarter, a half quarter, a quarter of anything that involves QT Marshall and motherfucking Big Show. There cannot be done on any brand of sports entertainment or pro wrestling something that I want to see less than Big Show and QT Marshall. I will watch the motherfuckers hit each other over the head with cinder blocks, fluorescent light tubes, them, shivving each other with forks. I will gladly watch that. I will gladly participate in that rather than watch Big Show versus QT Marshall. This shit, to get me to watch this, it would have to be like a Clockwork Orange, where I have to sit there and have my eyes pulled open. Otherwise, I am not watching this shit. Okay? It cannot be any entertainment value to be had in any respect for QT Marshall versus Big Show. There cannot be. It cannot be done. The only thing impossible in this world, outside of resurrecting from death, is to make this shit entertaining. This shit sucks. It fucking sucks. Two people with no charisma, no personality, cannot make anything good. Oh. This is not good, man. This is not good. This ain't good. This ain't good. Nah. This doesn't work for me, brother. I'm telling you this. I'll make sure I got something else to do. I got other plans. Whenever they do it, I got other plans. All right? I don't care when it is. I don't care what it is. I got other things to do. I will not watch QT Marshall versus Big Show. You have my word on that. I will not watch it. So, that's it, I think. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Who cares? So, Aew Dynamite pissed the bed, and I walked away from it very, very angry. And that's it. So, like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, donate to the channel, tell your friends about the channel, bring me in more subscribers. I'm trying to get to 1,000. So, let's help us get to 1,000. And I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace out. Oh, yeah. Before y'all go, thank you to everybody who has been donating to the channel. I'm actually going to start keeping a list of people to donate to the channel. I'll probably do a weekly thing where I do weekly shout outs or something like that to people who donate to the channel. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys later.
Tell me what's worse than learning all that you led to believe was all horse crap. They distort so question